Hello, hello. This is Salvatore D'Angelo, also known as Sal You Loans, and this is the World Is Yours podcast, where we talk about health, wealth, and life. I'm here with two of my friends, one newer friend, one day one. I'm super excited about this episode. Before we get started, I would like to do a PSA as I usually do. And that is everything is funny with a pocket full of money. With that being said,
Yes.
Beto, Katie, introduce yourselves.
You go ahead.
Me?
Ladies first.
Yes.
I'm Katie Cantrill.
What do you do?
I'm a custom menswear stylist.
She is really good at what she does, too. She makes me look good.
You look good already.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And what do you do?
Well, I'm Beto. I'm at BetoBlessedHands. I am a barber, and I'm also jumping into the industry of clothing.
Absolutely. And he makes me look good, too.
That's right.
He saves me. He turns me from a 6 to a 10 like every week.
About more like a 4 to a 9. Relax.
So let's dive into it, guys. Thank you guys both for coming tonight. I'm gonna throw my phone over there. We're gonna get it on the table. Yeah, my business never stops. I'm 24/7, 365. That's just how it goes. But so you guys are, both pretty prolific in what you guys do. A lot of people know your names, right? Especially in the Sacramento area. How did you get started? Where did you come from? That's what I want to know.
Okay, well, I'm an East Coast girl and military family. So I moved out to the San Francisco area, and it didn't seem like such a big move, I think, because of military. But then I actually studied people, psychology, and therapy. And then...
I'm messed up, huh?
Oh, but I still love you. But basically, long story short, once I started my family... I wanted something really flexible but fun. And so my sister-in-law told me about Jay Hilburn and being a custom menswear stylist. So I'm not a personal shopper. I'm a custom menswear stylist. So I meet with guys and measure them and figure out their fit and style clothes that fit.
Awesome. And what did you do before you got into this?
So I was actually a therapist.
Oh, you were?
So now I'm just a therapist in the closet, in the wardrobe. But so, yeah, basically my whole life, I've always been into art and style, color, even what I studied. And I went to school and got degrees and stuff. But basically, I just love people. I love to help people. I love solving problems. And so once I realized fit was like king, that's what it's all about. That's the problem I solve, is working with guys to make things easy, fun, and make clothes that fit. So it started out, where I was just looking for a new pursuit that was creative. So yeah.
And you fell into something you love.
Yeah.
And you're good at what you do. And she makes my life a lot easier, especially as a freak, right?
Yes.
I was like, I'm never going to find any clothes that are going to fit me, right? The right way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's either going to be perfect up top and a window drape in the bottom.
Oh.
But no, I really appreciate you, and we're going to talk more about how you generate your business and everything like that. And it's very insightful.
Yeah.
All right, Beto, your turn.
Well, I'm Beto, obviously, and I'm a barber. I've been in the industry for about 15 years already. Well, when I first started, I can tell you, I didn't think about being a barber. I used to think about being, it's kind of weird, but I was like, I want to be a detective.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. We're going to pause the show. You sure you want to say that, homie? I've known you way too long for you to be a detective.
Hey, hold on. This is when I was 10 years old, and I used to watch these fucking detective movies, right?
Hey, I don't know, bro.
Look.
I don't know if TJ would approve of that.
We might have to cut that part out. For real though, growing up, I played soccer my whole life, and that was like my passion, and that was like what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
But I only grew to be 5'4" and a half. It was difficult. It was tough out there. I went to play college at CRC, and I was going to school there at the time. I was studying accounting, and soccer and those two things were like things I wanted to do. But I started cutting hair at 15 years old, right? I found these clippers in the garage one day. It was around Christmas, and I was cleaning out the attic, and I found this bag, and I was like, what is this shit right here? I went and opened it. It was a pair of clippers, right?
Whose was it?
I don't know. My parents had just.
That's why your blessed hands. Was it a divine entity that gave you your first clippers?
I seriously don't know because nobody in my house said that they
That's
belong.
a trip.
I've
never heard this.
Yeah, you haven't. I haven't really shared it with anybody, right? I was cleaning out the attic, and I was about 14 years old, and mind you, we've only been living in this house for 4 years because we moved from the Bay Area, Santa Rosa, and my mom had really never been in the attic, so I was like, "Hey, Mom, I found these clippers. Like, whose are they?" She's like, "I don't know." I was like, "What the fuck?"
I know your mom. That's exactly what she
Yeah,
said.
yeah. And then
she's like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, exactly. So then I went in the fucking garage, and I remember my cousin Mario. He was with me every weekend, and in the summer, if I wasn't playing soccer, he'd come over, would fucking rake up hella quarters and shit, and order pizza.
Shout out Mario, best tacos in Sac.
Yep. And so one day I was like, "Hey, bro," I was like, "Let me taper you up," and so he was like, "All right, fuck it," So he trusted me, and then I started just cleaning him up little by little. I thought it looked great, right? But the reason why I started even cutting hair is because my mom used to take me to the salon, and my shit used to get fucked up, right?
It all starts from trauma.
Hey,
Yeah.
You see that childhood picture of my hair, right? Come on, Mom and Dad. What are we doing here?
I was like, my mom be taking me to the salon when she got her hair done. They had no fucking clue about how to do a men's haircut. I used to have this little cholo haircut. It was all bald, and then these little bangs in the front. And I had a weird ass lineup, so I didn't even get a lineup.
You had that shit last week, though.
No, I got this right here. Look at that.
Mira.
But anyways, like I was saying, so when I started actually going, one of my friends invited me, he's like, "Hey, let's go get a haircut at this black barbershop. It's called Brothers Barbershop." Yeah. And I was like, "Cool." He was like, "This is Puerto Rican
Probably
dude."
Probably a black barbershop, Brothers Barbershop. I like that.
But there was this Puerto Rican dude that worked there. And no, Cuban barber that worked there. And he's like, "Bro, he does a hella good job. Like, he fades you up hella nice and everything." And I was like, "Hell yeah." I was like, I've been wanting to go get a good haircut. So I went in, and the first day I went into that barbershop, I was just stuck.
You knew.
I knew, I was watching them, and I was like, I could do that. And I was watching how they were fading, I was like, I could do that. And I was hella a visual learner. So when I went back home and I started doing my cousin, and on Christmas I told my uncle, I was like, "Let me fade your hair." I would grab the clippers, and I hadn't even watched no YouTube videos, no nothing, until I went to that barbershop. And that one day I was watching them. I was there for 2.5, 3 hours because it was 4 of us, right? So I was there for that amount of time. I was just watching them. And I went back home, and I was like, it just was I knew that's what I wanted to do. And after that, I just started getting better and better and better and better. And then, elevating myself, be around better barbers made me a better barber.
And not many people might know this, but Beto or a lot of people in SAG know now, but Beto's a really good barber. He cuts Kings players. Dude's on point with everything, right? You really elevated your craft. I probably started getting cut from you maybe 6 years ago. And even when I first got cut by you, you were good. But one thing I respect about you constantly get better. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know that you're obsessed with your craft. Yeah. In anything you do in life, man, it's got to be a definite of purpose, right? Mm-hmm. So no matter what you're doing, try to become the best at it. Yeah. Even if, say you transition to something else, your clothing line pops off, those same processes that you use, right? To become better at barbering because of the obsession and the studying and everything that, you apply those same principles to the clothing line. Yeah. That's going to take off as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're not always, it's always competing about being better than yourself than you were yesterday. Because, if you focus on a competition with other people, obviously you see everybody else, doing their thing and whatnot. but you can't get distracted from being.
No,
You know what I mean?
Looking over there, you're missing out on what's ahead of you.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's like that. That I don't know if you ever seen that picture where they have the guy that's digging in the shovel, right? And
missed the diamond.
And he missed the diamond.
Yeah. He turned around. He gave up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give up, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
If you, that's what I'm saying. You got to pick something and you got to be all in on it, no matter what it is, no matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
If you go broke, doesn't matter.
Yeah, try again.
Find something that you're passionate about and make it happen.
If that doesn't work out, at least you know that you gave it 100% and you move on to the next thing.
Not even that. Like it doesn't even stop until you die, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work out, there is no not working out.
Yeah.
Is it going to work out this week or is it going to work out 3 years from now?
Yeah, and you know the thing about that is that, like, I can relate to that because at a younger age, right, when I was cutting hair, like 18, and I started working at the first time I got into a shop, it was actually a hair salon. And the funny part about that story is that salon I started at was around when my mom used to take me to get fucked up at.
No shit.
Yeah.
It came full circle.
Yeah, it did a whole circle, right?
Yeah.
But that was like my first opportunity because I knew them from a young age. Because I used to always be there.
Yeah.
Because my mom. They were the one that gave me the opportunity to come in at 18 as an apprentice. Not even an apprentice yet. Just knowing how to cut hair from the garage.
That's good, though. You humbled yourself, and you take the opportunity that's given to you, right?
Exactly.
Like, you got to know your worth at the same time. So, like, eventually you're not going to take all the opportunities that are given to you.
Exactly.
But know your position in this game.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to take one step at a time. You can't jump from the first floor to the second floor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You got to take the stairs, big dog.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. So, Katie, we were talking about, the way that we market ourselves before Beto showed up 45 minutes late. But that's okay. We knew that was going to happen.
Sure.
Hey, so.
We still love ya.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my dog. But, all right, so I base my business off of something's called 4 pillars, right? Mm-hmm. So generating leads, you have to have 4 pillars. And I think, like for me, social media, in-person transactions, investing into marketing, whether it's putting money into, you know what I mean? And then, going to like, certain type of meetings where I can meet people, those networking events, the P car, the S car for me. So let me know about like, how you kind of generate your leads, what you do on social media, all those things that you were talking about earlier that I think everybody needs to really learn about.
Yeah, so I think what's fascinating is, for me, I'm a storyteller. I'm very...
East Coast shit.
I'm very contextual. Like, if someone asks me a yes or no question, I will not answer. I will answer with a story. So really what happened, like when I started out in 2014, I was a hobbyist. Like, I was just kind of doing my thing, learning things, learning about fit, learning about clothes, fabric. But I was not putting the word out at all. And it wasn't until literally 4 years later that I was like, man, I need to get out and meet beyond my circle. And so honestly, so I always think about pivot points. Like, who were your pivot points? Who was your pivot clients? Like, what were the big, where just everything changed momentum wise? And for me, it was starting to go to networking, and it wasn't a paid membership. It wasn't a group. It was just monthly gatherings. And that's when all of a sudden the energy shifted.
So Katie, let me know what you mean by energy shift.
Yeah. So I feel like for me, I was in this little bubble. And then all of a sudden, when I went to networking, at first I'm like, what is networking? Like, I know people are in the room together, but what is happening? Yeah. And then once I started experiencing, I realized from a really pure standpoint, everyone's there for the same reason. Like, everyone's there to meet people. Everyone's there to grow their business, to make connections. And that was the shift for me. And then a couple months in, some of the guys I was seeing consistently on a monthly basis. What's cool about monthly networking groups is normally about 50% of the same people show, and then about 50% are new.
Absolutely.
So you feel like you have your people. You feel like you're members, even though there isn't a membership. And so you feel safe. and then you kind of just keep growing your network.
There's
And
a power, sorry to cut you off, but there's a power to people already knowing you,
Yes.
right? Like, you can say whatever you want about yourself.
Yeah.
But if somebody's there to, like, co-sign and
Yeah.
say, hey, look, she does good work.
Right.
Because there's like, especially at those networking events, there's a lot of people out there. They're like, yeah, okay, I hear you.
Right.
But where's the proof in the pudding?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You
Well,
go ahead and
so the
continue.
proof of the pudding is this. So then a couple of my guys were like, Katie, do you realize like how visual what you do is? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, why are you not on social media? So I know probably most of the people listening to this are on social media, but I was not. And so just that decision to capture what I was doing with pictures, to post it, to tell a story was then my next pivot point.
Copy. Now,
There's a lot of people out there like that.
oh, absolutely. I mean, like, I wasn't really big. You know me. I wasn't super big on social media.
I know.
Until I was like, all right, like, I don't know, like, I need to, like, maintain these relationships that I'm meeting all these people.
Yeah.
Like, there's a benefit for me to have social media
Yeah,
now.
because you could have a relatable conversation about, oh, you seen something on their story. You could just spark a conversation.
Absolutely.
Like, you know,
Right.
I have clients, they're like, they watch my story and they'll be like, oh, how was your trip? And, you know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, you can
You're a
relate to
human.
something.
You're
Exactly.
not a barber. You're an
Exactly.
actual human.
Exactly. And, you know,
Right.
and that's the thing about just providing a service or you know what I mean? Or just making a transaction is making that relationship, like, personal.
Right.
And
Like-
that's how you create that bond as a friendship and you keep that going.
Absolutely. Because people, like we were talking about this earlier, right? You're not a barber. You're not a stylist. I'm not a mortgage loan officer, right?
Right.
We're in the people business at the core of everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, people do business with the people that they like, right?
Yes,
There's
exactly.
plenty of people that cut hair. There's plenty
Right.
stylists. There's plenty of mortgage officers. People do business with the people that they can relate to,
Right.
that they can trust,
Right.
that they...
Well, and basically what I quickly discovered is with social media, it was the perfect form of storytelling, but then honestly, it's visibility.
Absolutely. It's
So-
like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's a CRM system,
Right.
essentially, right?
Yep.
Like,
So you're going from this networking where you're like, am I giving them a business card? Am I not? What's the follow-up going to be? Well, no, if you connect on social media, you went from seeing them once a month at a networking event to seeing them every day on social media.
how do you leverage that, Katie?
Oh
and
my
I know
God.
you do, because I think we've got a very similar
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Might be the East Coast thing. You might be part Italian. I don't
Yes.
know.
No,
But-
so this is the deal. Like, it is literally, if you looked at my numbers of my business, it's obscene. Like, literally, like 2 months from doing social media, like all my numbers shot up like 40%. And then it's just been like astronomical, even through the pandemic. And what happens is, if you lean into social media and say, this is a story, this is my story, this is the story of my clients, the service I provide, who I work with, how I make them look and feel better. Sound familiar, right? Then you lean into that and people understand the story behind your service and people want to follow you and see the next story.
Absolutely.
Then they recognize your clients and say, oh, I know who that is. I want to be your next story.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometimes social media can be really intimidating, but if you really lean into it, or even if you think you're boring, either as a person or the service you're providing. We were just talking about this, someone who did something that seemed really benign. It was furniture for an office. It was like,
Shout out Ryan Seas.
so I'm like, dude, you may think it's boring to sell office furniture.
You do.
Like, that's your business. It's not boring. But you need to make it interesting. So then your posts are not about the freaking chair. It's about the person sitting in it that you just made feel like $1 million because they used your office solution.
I bet so. I'm going to get to you. No, straight up.
Right?
But, hey, Katie,
That's-
more specifically, break
Yeah.
it down to
Oh,
the
okay,
dumb
okay.
to the dumb, right? Like, you know, people are trying to get their business going. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is, right?
Right.
What are you specifically doing?
Yep. Okay. I'm really analytical, so I love this shit. So I think about it from a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis.
Copy.
So I'm like, okay, on a daily basis, I'm going to capture my day. And if I have like a prolific day where
Capture
I
your day.
see like 8 guys and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to take those pictures. It doesn't mean I'm going to post them all in one day. I'm going to sit on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to look back and say, what was the story of my day, whether I was working with a groom, whether I was working with a guy who just lost 40 pounds, whether I'm working with a guy, a 24-year-old realtor who really wants to up his game. Like, those are the stories. It's not about me. It's about them.
Absolutely.
And so then on a weekly basis, I'm thinking, okay, have I posted product? Have I posted about me? Have I posted about them? And that's how I approach it, is I really try to come from all angles and where it's kind of balanced that way.
Awesome. So you're painting a story.
Right.
You're not fully focused on the product that you're selling.
Right.
Yes,
Because that's not the
it's
point.
more of a lifestyle.
Yeah, a lifestyle, a feeling, but it's really, who am I helping? What am I doing? And why would someone work with me?
Exactly. Because who likes a salesman?
Nobody.
That's not the
Nobody.
point. That's not why we're here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's people, right? And
Well, and why do you like to cut hair?
Well, in Beto, like I know who you deal with, right? You deal with Kings players. You've dealt with rappers, right? Like, there's a certain way that you're promoting yourself that attracts attention as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you got a skill cutting hair,
Yeah.
right? But there's a lot of people that have a skill cutting hair.
exactly.
There's a certain way that you promote yourself. So, I mean, like, barbers out there that maybe are watching this podcast right now, what advice would you give them to, like, promoting on social media and things along that line?
Well, I mean, first of all, obviously, don't ever get discouraged. If you're just starting off, it's really easy to get discouraged because, you might have the experience. You might have difficult talking to people, like just difficulty talking to people.
Yeah.
And, all that other stuff that's coming along, anxiety and all that. And maybe sometimes you're not making as much money as you think you want to make. And you're like, fuck, this is probably not going to work out. I'm going to give up. But you know what? Like, just doing that little extra, if you're working at a shop or anywhere you're working, like if it's in the service industry, like just doing the little extra. Like, let's say when you have a client that walks in, acknowledge them, talk to them. Hey, how you doing?
Pour them a shot.
Yeah.
You guys got a whole vibe at that barbershop.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been to a lot of barbershops. You have something unique. Like, talk on that. Like,
Exactly. So, like, you walk in and everybody says hello, and that means that you, as part of the shop, you gotta acknowledge the person that's walking in, and make them feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Ask them how they're doing, and acknowledge them in a conversation. And it's not just about the haircut. It's about, you could walk into a shop and just get a haircut, sit down, wait, get your haircut, and leave. But it's not just that. It's about the experience
100%.
that you're getting from the moment that you walk in to the moment that you walk out. We've had people, like, just out-of-towners that walk in, and from the moment they walk in, we'll be like, hey, if they don't want a shot, we'll give them some water. But, usually we'll probably offer them a shot first.
But it's true. Like, I mean, I've done business with both of you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, you both have a different experience.
Right.
Like, I've had other stylists. I've had other barbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when I walk into both of your guys' situations, I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah, it's definitely different vibe for different, industries, which I'm saying, like, in my shop, it's more about the man comes in and he could have a relaxed time. Like, sit down. It's your time. I have clients that come from Stockton, Lodi, from Fairfield, from the Bay Area that get cut.
I was coming from San Jose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I said, you could go somewhere else and get a decent, good haircut. But sometimes people, like, they need that time.
Right. Okay. So, but then this is where it's interesting, because I had someone younger at the networking event last week ask me, well, Katie, what is it about you? And you sit there and you really think, like, is there a secret sauce? Like, so you're talking about the barber, the new barber or a new stylist. And they're like, so what is it? Like, what's the secret? And I'm like, yo, it's different for everyone.
You know what I think it is?
What?
I think it's life experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
the more, like, and it sounds funny, right? So this is why everything you go through in life is a blessing.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. No matter what it is.
Exactly.
If it's good, if it's bad, if it's in the middle, right? The more life experience you have, the more people you can relate to.
Right. And I agree. And so this was my answer. I said, A, there's not a secret sauce. And B, it has to do with me being confident in who I am.
Absolutely.
I said, so don't try to be like your mentor. Be the best version of yourself.
And true to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And
because people see through that shit.
oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
and you can call what you want. We're all in sales, right?
Right.
Everybody's in sales. Doctors in sales, blah, blah, blah. There's two sales in sales, right? The most two important sales is you have to be sold on yourself and you have to be sold on your products.
Exactly.
Right.
If you're not
Yep.
good with yourself, there's nothing you can sell,
Yeah.
right? And then you have to believe in the service that you provide.
Right.
You know what
Exactly,
I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Well, and then I think there's a part, this is going to sound weird, but you already touched on this, of like being humble and bringing yourself down. So there was even a question about, well, how do you get guys to feel comfortable around you or to open up about what they really want, whether it's a haircut, whether it's about what they look like or how they're going to dress. And it's by paying them a compliment and by disarming them a bit where,
That's
you know,
what I do. That's what I'm good at.
yeah, hey, good. But like, I can't
just
tell
disarm them a
you.
little bit. I'd
Yeah.
be like, damn, look like shit. But I'm gonna bring you back.
hey,
Yeah.
that's what
Or
you
you
do to
say,
me.
or maybe they come in looking horrible, but you compliment their shoes.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's
Well,
the
that's-
thing.
You know, I don't know, for me, a little more should I talk to them and then I bring them back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after what I do to them, I'd be like, oh, damn, you look great.
But that's what you did for them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the service that you
Yeah,
provide.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
that's
but,
why he
but
turns
you know,
me
but
from a
I
4.
make it more personal.
It's 4 to 10.
So that's
not 3 to 9.
It's not really
by the
about
way.
what I'm saying. It's maybe it is what I'm saying, but I make it more personal to like where like it's a one-on-one thing.
Right.
And-
But you're focused on them, not you.
Exactly.
You didn't say, oh, look at what I did.
Exactly.
You said
Exactly.
you went.
Exactly.
You went. I didn't take you from a
100%.
4 to 10. You went from a 4
Yeah.
to 10.
It's
100%.
exactly. You can't focus on yourself. You got to put the energy into what you created and them.
Right. Because this is the thing, like, no matter what your role is, you can oddly be intimidating to someone. So, like, when I go to events and someone says, oh, you're a stylist, I feel embarrassed. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, you know, where you just kind of,
Insecurities.
yeah. And that, but then if you kind of zoom in on that,
Yeah.
you realize where they're at and kind of then pivot with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch it up a little bit. So, both of you guys are pretty well known in the area. I think I'm well known as well now, recently, anyways.
Good job.
Keys to branding. What are
wanna
keys
start?
to branding? Like, like image. How do you monetize your network? How do you get, like you were talking about being on the paddleboard? Oh, that's Katie's hair, right? Things of that nature. How do you brand yourself?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as far as how I believe branding, I started my branding. You just got to create something that you believe in. And
What was it that you believed in?
when I started, I had, before I came up with Blessed Hands collection,
Yeah.
I had like just other stuff going on, right? But then one day it just grew on me like this. I had this idea and this design, and I was like, all my clients would be like, damn, you blessed. Beto, you blessed me. You blessed me. And I'd be like, all right,
Blessed hands.
Blessed
Boom.
Hands, all right?
That's gangster.
Yeah. So I started thinking about how I can create a design, and it was just gonna be for basically just like to have like a logo for like my work, like my pictures of my designs and all that, like my haircuts, and it was just gonna be something just to tag my pictures, right? And then I had a friend of mine, Carlitos. We got together and we went on a trip together to South America, and one day we're sitting down, and I was like, bro, it'd be tight if you could help me design an idea that I have in my head, because he's a great artist, right? So, and he's a barber, but he's also started doing, tattoos and whatnot. So I was like, bro, you're amazing at art. Help me design my idea in my head. We sat down, and then we created this great design that I have on my back. I'll show you guys in a little bit. But after that, it like literally just blew up in my head. I was like, you know what? I could create a brand with this. I had when I came back and I just had a small order of shirts. My friends were like, bro, that's sick. You know what I mean? I like it. And fuck, hold on. Stop that.
No, what? You good? Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
All right, you can get the part out.
No,
Hold on.
keep rolling.
I had a brain fart real quick. So, hold on. We were talking about
The branding.
The branding.
I have a comment, but it can
Go,
wait. Do you
no,
want me to
go
go? Let me
ahead.
see if this helps.
Listen to
Okay, I'm gonna cough. Thank you. Okay, but
It's
so
that tequila
I
from
just
Guadalajara.
started rambling. I
You got
caught
it?
myself.
Okay,
Because I was rambling.
No, you were good. That was all good.
but
Okay.
this is the
I
deal.
feel like I was rambling.
no.
So you're
You're high,
talking.
nigga.
I know.
Oh wait, we definitely gotta cut that out.
I am a little high.
So-
No, but I'm still good. I'm good. So
Okay,
keep
good.
You want to ask me something? Ask me something. That way I could say something. Go ahead.
Well, so what you're talking about was segueing your interest into a physical brand, like of clothing.
Okay. You're right. So, talk to me.
But then it's also interesting when you realize a personal brand is not a logo on a shirt.
Yeah.
It is the way you make people feel.
100%.
It's the experience that you
The
provide.
association with
Right.
that symbol, whatever it might be.
And you know what it is at networking? When someone just goes, "Oh my God, I love Sal. I love,"
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Somebody's
the
falling
feeling.
off. Okay. Yeah,
got
you're
it.
right. You're right. But like, it is association. It's not really because anybody could fucking make, a design and but what is the connection
Right.
that other people can relate to?
Absolutely.
The
That's why these NFTs are taking off.
yeah.
As fucking weird as they are, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like one of my other logos is "Pray for me," right? And I designed the whole scripture of how it is and everything, but it's just a phrase, right? But I was like, you know what? I put it on my back, and everybody does need a prayer, whether you think you don't or you do.
You know why it's working out for you? I'll tell you right now, right? Napoleon Hill talks about this. I don't know if you guys ever thought about or ever read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you guys read that book? So he talks about that whole book. So Napoleon Hill studied, I think, 500 people who were like multi-millionaire, multi-billionaires back in like the 30s. So Carnegie with steel and everything like that. He talks about a definition of purpose, right? If you're willing to put something on your skin for the rest of your life, you are 100% sold on your product. Like we were talking about earlier, sell yourself on yourself, sell yourself on your product.
Yeah.
That's why you're having success. And that's why it's going to be successful for you.
And the crazy thing is that at first, I'm still in the beginning stages, right?
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see like these little seeds that are starting to turn into plants.
Right.
All I know is Wilbert, where's your shit every time we hit the gym? My boy Wilbert be rocking
And you know
your
what?
shit.
I just had the other day. There was a grand opening in El Grove gym, and one of somebody else's clients came in. He's like, "Hey, bro, my friend had an opening like down in El Grove, his new gym, and I seen like 2 people wearing your shirts." And then I had somebody else like, "Oh, I seen people downtown wearing," and you know what? Like just that little bit, it's like it feels good.
Absolutely.
That I'm creating a visual, like just a brand that I know that I have purpose and I have meaning to, and I love it.
It stands out, bro.
Stands out.
Like if you tell somebody to pray for you, right?
Yeah,
Like that's pretty fucking deep.
yeah.
I was on the treadmill at Folsom 24, right? And then I'm doing my thing or whatever. Old ass cat comes up to me. He's like, "Should I pray for you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I forgot I
It's
was wearing your
universal,
clothes.
baby.
But you know what the thing about that phrase, right? Anybody could say it, but that I wanted to
connects.
capture. I wanted to capture
Right.
that phrase and I designed it how I did. I wanted to. It's gonna mean something to everyone, and
Absolutely.
it's gonna have a meaning in everyone's single like their own form or way, because every single person has a problem or maybe something that's going on in their life that they might need a prayer, right? But the thing is that you could identify to it however you want.
Right.
You know, it's universal.
It's universal.
I like what you touched on there because, you're explaining your brand, right? So that's one aspect of branding, what you're trying to sell. Another aspect of it is yourself, right? Like at least in my industry, it's more important because it's almost like a commodity, you know? Like everybody offers the same type of thing, right? So you have to brand yourself. That's the most important part. Like everybody sees me. I mean, for the most part, they know I'm Italian. They know I answer my phone 24/7, 365.
Exactly.
They know I'm down to hustle. That's how I branded myself. And I think we kind of touched on that, and you kind of brand in the same way that I brand, right? Like, how do people identify your brand, and what's important to you in building that brand?
Right. So really your brand is your person, it's your personality, and if you're wise enough and secure enough, you'll realize it's just leaning into the authentic you.
Absolutely.
You know, that it's not the secret sauce, it's not that you're better or worse than someone else. I never focus on another brand. I don't focus on other clothing shops. I just focus on me. And when someone works with me, they know they're going to have fun. It's positive energy.
Absolutely.
I'm confident, and I'm going to pass that confidence on to you. And basically, I meet someone where they're at, I hear where they're at, and I start to take them down the path. I don't push them beyond where they want to go, and then we just grow as we go.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Let's switch it up a little bit. All right, so I think a lot of people that are going to be watching this, like they're either going to be super young, right? Or they're going to be trying to establish themselves in a business that they're not familiar with. And a lot of people are coming from real estate, right? Because that's generally who I attract. But like looking back to your 19-year-old self or yourself that first got into this business, what advice, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, don't get discouraged and stuff like that, right? But what advice would you give yourself starting in this new industry, right? What lessons have you learned, and what advice would you give to your brand new self?
Right.
Well, I believe in having a always have connections, be around get involved in communities that obviously are going to benefit you.
Let me touch on that real quick since you're out, because I think that's the most important thing in business. I just hit my mic. I hope that didn't mess everything up.
But definitely, because
it is.
If you don't know where to start, it's just surrounding yourself with people that you might, that you see. They're like, they're doing great. That's where I should be. Right. Get yourself around that circle of people, like putting yourself in the right, environment.
Even if you're not doing great, right?
Exactly.
Or even if they're not doing great,
exactly.
Right? Let's pump each other up,
exactly.
Right?
Because
and let's build together.
Exactly. Sometimes you might not have a lot to offer, but if you have that drive and you have that passion and determination, you bring yourself around somebody that sees that and they're on another level, they might be able to help you lift yourself up. And
what have you found successful in your career?
What have I found successful?
Yeah, what have you found successful? All right, hey, I'm going to tap in with this barber. He's going to give me some tips on how to do my products. Or I'm going to tap in with,
listen,
how'd you get in with the NBA people? That's what I'm saying. Like, what advice
like I just said, just associating yourself with the people that you want to be around, that you see yourself at, right? And just being true to yourself and just being hungry and just real, I don't know how to explain it.
Real interactions.
No. Just what's the word I'm looking for?
Seeking or no? Well, so I think one thing I'm hearing is that there's the talking and reaching out to mentors, people who are good at your trade. Yeah. And people who you want to be like, because it takes a lot, and you'd be surprised if you talk to people who are above you or better than you in your trade. They often, with the right heart, they want to help. But then I think what you're talking about is also having, some people would use the term referral partners, but partners. So if you're at a networking group or a social, and you're around people who are at the same point in your career, you become accountability buddies, and you become people who help pitch things. Or Absolutely. You say, hey, I'm going to this mixer tonight. Will you come? Or, and you basically become partners in crime, where you're going to show up to the same things. You're going to walk you're going to keep each other accountable for the activities you're going to do versus a mentor who might be showing you activities that would be better to do or you're learning from them. So I think there's kind of two different types of people that can really push you along.
Yeah, but if you could do both.
Yes.
That's the key. I mean, the key is doing everything, right?
Yeah.
There's other ways that you can, but I think one thing that has propelled my career pretty quickly, because I'm relatively new to this business, right? Anybody I touch, I don't care if it's a waiter, I don't care if it's a guy who's washing my car, I don't care if it's a real estate agent, I don't care if it's a stylist, I don't care if it's a barber, right? I'm going to turn you into a brand ambassador.
Right.
For my business.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because that's basically, I think the way to become successful, right, on a massive scale is everybody that you come into contact with in life has to be promoting your brand.
Right.
And it's not necessarily promoting your brand like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to get you this rate or anything. This guy's a good guy.
Right.
Right?
They're vouching for
say
you.
In Italians.
Yeah.
We'll say Italians, right? This guy's a good guy.
Yep.
I got a guy that does this. I got a guy that does that. I got a pool guy. I got a barber guy. I got a boom, boom. If you're in that network and people are really pumping you out and every person you run into, I just did a deal with the bartender at Iron Horse Tavern just because I sit down there and I work on my laptop every day. Anybody that you come into contact has to be promoting your business.
Right.
It's 24/7, 365 when you're an entrepreneur. We all are entrepreneurs, right? In a either entrepreneur or intrapreneur because we work for other companies, right? But it's an entrepreneur mindset.
Right.
And anybody you come into contact, the lady at Starbucks could be your next customer. You got to turn everybody into a brand ambassador and take care of everyone.
And the thing is, when people are saying, I don't have money to pay for marketing, well, treat your customers really well because your best marketing is your
100%.
customer's experience. And that's where social media comes in, where people are sharing your story via an Instagram story or a post.
Oh, free.
And
For free.
and always, be like a light.
Right.
A solid
Anywhere you
human.
go.
Yeah.
A solid human that makes somebody else's day better just by doing something nice to them.
And how freaking simple is that? Because people, again, back to this concept of the secret sauce or like really sit on the people you're drawn to at a networking mixer or at other events. And you're going, God, what is it about them? No, it's just they're themselves.
Yes.
And they know it's an energy thing. It's a vibe thing. And yes, that's a natural thing, or maybe you acquire it, but really it is not about being a certain type of person. It's just owning yourself in the room.
It's the guy that shows up to networking event. Oh, I'm doing this type of business.
Yeah.
I'm doing this type of business. I'm going to flex on you. And then I want you to do business with me.
Right.
I don't want to do business with that guy.
Right.
I want someone I can sit down with, have a meal with, you know what I mean? Have a good time with. Doesn't matter if you're doing 11 units a month, if you're doing 1 unit a month. We're all the fucking same.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're making $1 million a year. You're making $10,000 a year. You're going to get the same service from me.
Yep. And the key is when you're in a moment, this is the key, is you don't talk about yourself. You ask someone about themselves.
Absolutely.
So it was just like the idea of disarming someone and making them feel comfortable. But if you're in a situation, the best possible thing is to ask someone about themselves, not to tell them about what you do. It's actually to say, what's up? Like, what's important to you? You know, what drives you? And it just disarms them and makes them more comfortable versus you fronting and saying, this is what's up. This is who I work with. You know,
Nobody
you want to
likes
hear
that.
about them.
Nobody
No.
likes
And there's
that.
2 ways you can take that information. Because
Yeah.
like if it's fake, somebody's gonna ask you that.
Yep.
And they won't remember.
But it's
Yeah.
it's
And then-
sometimes about how you say it, and then like it's a fucking energy thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
It's
you
100%.
could say how you say it, and you could sell yourself. But I'm like, I don't know. Some people feel the energy, some don't.
it, player.
It's feeling yourself.
No, but it's
yes,
true.
Yeah.
You can tell, but it's true frequencies. I don't know how you guys are into energy, but you can tell when someone's bullshitting. It's like, bro, you don't gotta bullshit. Just be yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially if you're a genuine ass person.
Yeah.
There's nothing like you.
Yeah.
You can tell. You can
Right.
tell because you're
Yeah.
genuine and
Yeah.
you're true to yourself. So you'd be like, damn.
I seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and also part of it is starting small and just starting where you're at, whereas you think you just have to grow or go to your perfect client. But another tip is finding your connectors. Like, you're a connector. You're like, yeah, what's up? Like, literally at the mixer the other day, you're like, yo, what's up? I'm going to introduce you to everyone in the room. Like, he literally, not to me. He didn't say that to me. He said it to this guy who's a new realtor. And I'm like, I love you. You're such a connector. And I said that to someone standing next to me. I go, this is what's up. You want to find someone like him who's a connector.
Absolutely.
Those are the people, because not everyone is going to introduce you to the whole room.
Well, and like, all right, so if I know everybody in the room, I'm going to introduce you. What you do with that
is up to you.
Right?
Yep,
I'm going to give you the introduction.
Yep.
I see you as a solid person.
Yep.
I'm going to introduce you to everybody I know.
Right.
What you choose to do with that is up to you,
Right.
player. After that, it's not up to me, right?
But do novices realize the power of you, and that there is a difference between 10 other guys in the room who are just like, da, 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 and then you're going, I will open the doors.
Absolutely.
And so I'm actually saying that if you can recognize within a group who the connectors are, you nurture those relationships.
And Sal brings that energy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sal brings that energy to the room everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Sal. And, you know, it's just lovely.
Yeah.
It's lovely to have him in the
Appreciate that,
presence
homie.
because, you know, wherever we've gone and from other people that he's met through me,
Right.
they're like, oh, I made your homie Sal, Big Sal. He's hella funny. He's hella cool. And I appreciate that. And I'm like, hell yeah. You know, Sal, I was like, that's Sal right there, you know? And he, that connection between me and him, other people, and then they build another connection, it just keeps that going and that energy all the way around.
Right.
Not enough good people in this world, right? Like, so if it's good people and good people go together, you guys gonna make some money together, you guys gonna make friendships, whatever it is. Yep. That's how it should be, you know?
Yep. Well, and then the other thing, this is kind of deep, hold back, is
I like it. We like deep over here.
Is the idea that who you're talking to. Some people say talk to everyone as if they're your future client. I say, no. Talk to everyone as if they're the connection to your future client. So not like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, do you need custom fit? Do you have a wedding you're going to? No. Like, I'm going to describe to you my ideal client. I work with busy guys who appreciate custom fit, the convenience, and the style, and they're already sparking in their brain who they know that they connect me with.
100%.
So if you are so focused on a transaction, or you're going to walk away from a conversation with that client, do you realize they could know 5 of your clients if you talk to them that way?
And you know what? I never go into a conversation thinking like,
no,
I'm going to make business off this person.
Right.
I don't. And everybody who knows me knows I'm very business minded.
Yeah.
I'm all about making money. You know what I mean? But I never meet somebody and I'm never like, you're a transaction.
Right.
Like, I want to get to know you.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's enough business out there to where, like, if I don't like you, I don't really need you in my circle. Whether you're a realtor, whether you're a client, I'm doing business with the people that I like. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I know I'm confident enough in my skill. I'm never going to answer to somebody, you know what I mean? So, like, I never walk into a conversation. I think this is important.
Right.
Especially at networking events. Never walk into a conversation like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make money off this guy.
Right.
Or this girl, right? Walk in like, let me see if I vibe with them. Let me see what type of human being they are. Like you said, even if you don't do business with them, like-minded people hang out with each other. Somebody in their spider web is you know what I mean, gonna be
Your
fruitful
client.
for you business wise.
Right.
But I never walk into a conversation like, ooh, I'm gonna
Right.
make some money off this guy. You know, I
Right.
think that's just such a fucked up concept. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
But
That's why we stop being human and just like become like a computer. And
yeah,
I mean, like,
and
where-
people
where's-
sense that.
Yeah, like, come on, man, fuck that. I don't want to fucking do business with you. Like, they wanted somebody they could trust, like, and they could be personal with, and you know, be like, damn, this is a big deal for me, and I need somebody I could trust.
And that guy could be the best at what he does. He could be the best at what he does. He could be the cheapest in the industry, blah, 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 most efficient. And if you're not vibing with him, you're not going to go to him.
Exactly.
Right.
You're
Yep.
not.
Yep.
All right, let's we'll veer off here a little bit. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I was interested in this, and then I'm going to flip to you. Okay, so you started a clothing line, Beto. What is A to Z? How does it go down? Like, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of viewers out there want to start their own clothing line, like, you know, break down the logistics of the inventory, break down, you know, the sale of the products, you know, what do you got to do as far as, you know, reaching out to a supplier, getting the clothing made, all that type of stuff?
All right. So as far as right now, I'm barely getting my own clothing line started, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the beginning stages, and I'm still learning as I go. When I first started, you know, I went to Colombia, and I thought that I could go find a manufacturer over there. I started with a local friend making my design, like I told you guys earlier, and so I went over there and I found a manufacturer to basically just print out my design, but it goes so much more deeper than that. You know, like you're in the industry, right? So I started off with that basic. I came back over here with the order of box of shirts. You know, very simple, just selling to my friends and all that. And then after that, I found a local wholesaler. I went and got my wholesale license, and then I went and bought a big bulk of shirts, and then I would take them to someone here locally to do my embroidery and my screen print. After that, I was like, you know what? I was like, I need more. I need more than that. I need more control. I need better pricing. So I've been educating myself as far as like manufacturing out of the country. You know, there's different parts of the country you get your stuff at, right? And so I went online and I found a manufacturer, and I've been designing my shirts from the length, width. You know, I've been learning about fabrics and all that. And right now, like, I'm in the mix of all that, like how to design my hats and what all the fabrics are and all that shit. So, sorry. So, anyways, with all that said, like right now, it's like barely taking off. So, I can't explain too much into it because I'm still in the learning stages.
Yeah.
But you could probably provide some more information on that.
That's good though. You know what? What I was kind of talking about earlier, and I didn't even know yet. I already knew that like the way that you came into barbering and you would be obsessed with it and you'd be studying.
Yeah.
So you're applying those same principles to your clothing line.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key. No matter what you're doing right now, if it's not what you want to end up doing, you have to master that craft, because even if it's table wiping, if you master the craft of table wiping, you become the best table wiper. I talked about this last episode, right? You can apply those same principles to something like mortgage, something like whatever it might be in the future.
Right.
Now, Katie, how did you get started? How did you, we already kind of touched on that, but how did you get started? And what's kind of like the process of being a personal stylist to somebody out there who's, you know, trying to get into the industry?
Yeah, so what I do is fairly unique because I'm a custom menswear stylist. I'm not a personal shopper, so I don't go to stores and go look for clothes and look for looks. Like, the process for me is I partner with a company, J. Holborn, out of Dallas. And I always say they do the hard work, I do the fun work. And so they do the production piece, which is amazing. And we've been around since 2007. And so when I meet with a guy, I'm measuring them, figuring out their fit preference. Do they want the clothes to follow them? Do they want them to squeeze them, meaning being super tight and fit? And then I send off my orders, and then Jay Holborn takes over where they produce the clothes.
Got you.
So from that standpoint, I haven't recreated the wheel. I'm in a unique position where I'm not having to do that whole piece of the production. And I've actually met people who've been like, I want my own brand. And I'm like, well, what if you did the fun part first and became a stylist like me with Jay Holborn? And then whether you do your own brand in the future, but you learn the things that I'm doing, you know, and definitely my trademark is the fit, because I can do that, you know, whether it's a custom t-shirt or a tuxedo. So I think personally fabric's important, color's important, but the fit is king. When you go into a room and someone looks amazing, it's because of the fit.
Absolutely. So what kind of questions do you ask your clients about the fit? Like, because, you know, obviously, like, some people like it looser, some people like it tighter. Me, I like it tighter.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So I actually have 3 hilarious questions. So, and this is, I'm an unconventional gal who often cusses, but I say, what pisses you off about your clothes? And guys know. They're like, oh my God, I have broad shoulders and then my shirt is a tent. Or like
Yes,
if you have a
that was me.
smaller frame. If you have a smaller frame and you're like, oh my God, it'll fit me in the shoulders, but then the sleeves are 6 inches too long. Like, guys know what's up. They know the problem. And honestly, they think it's their fault. So we talked about this where I go deep with guys and they realize they think it's something wrong with them. And I'm like, no, this is just how clothes are made. So I ask people, what pisses you off about your clothes? And then what they want, what they would prefer. And honestly, my pivot point for a fit is when I ask a guy, do you want clothes to follow your frame, meaning kind of your silhouette of your body, or do you want them to squeeze you? Because I have some crazy clients who love their clothes to be like a second skin, and I can do that. But the reality is when I'm measuring someone and trying to figure out what they want, I have to hear what they want to decide what to do with the fit. And so that's how I kind of work through that.
You're just listening closely.
Yes.
And then you're taking your experience from the past.
Yep.
And advising your client on what's going to be best for them.
Right. Yep.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. Core values of both of your guys' companies. So I know maybe it's not a company because, whatever it might be, but the core values of your person, right? How do you like to operate business?
You want me to go first? He's like, Katie.
I was trying to hear what she said.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think values can be anything from integrity and communication.
Punctuality.
Right. But then you can also keep it simple back to our branding conversation of really, for me, it's optimism, it's positivity, it's a belief that I can help and make things better. I think honestly that's what it really comes down to for me. In integrity and communication, I'm extremely direct, whether it's the East Coast in me or being married to a therapist, I don't know. But so I'm very direct. I just call it like it is. I don't, keep it, I don't choose words, whatever that expression is. So, yeah.
I think you should hit all the points that I was going to say. No, but you know what? I also believe, just always thinking about not yourself, but the others.
Yeah.
And don't ever make it by yourself because, always being considerate. Mm-hmm. And also, like you said, your integrity and being true to yourself and being true to the person, that you're connecting with or doing business with, and always keeping it solid. I mean,
keeping it solid is key. So, for me, I'm available 24/7, 365. Everybody that does business with me knows that. That's a core value. I'm answering my phone while we're doing this podcast. My business comes first. Everybody can say that. I'm all about hustling. I'm all about this. Only a small amount of people are really about that. And I pride myself on that. That's what I'm about, right? And keeping it solid. That's what transitioned me into this conversation. I'm definitely going to keep it solid with you. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I'm not going to bullshit you. If your client isn't getting approved, I'm going to be like, hey, look, we need to take this customer and we need to send them to credit repair. I'm not going to say, yeah, we can get them approved, blah, 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 or no, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you how it is. And everybody knows that they're going to get the truth from me.
Exactly.
And again, like we were talking about earlier, I'm not going to lie to you because I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of anybody. Right. And John Gotti said, to quote the mafia, right? You only lie to people that you're scared of, and I'm not scared of anyone. Right. So I think people, when they do business with me, they get the genuine feeling that I'm going to tell them what it is, left or right. I'm going to tell them when they're wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm going to admit I'm wrong. Yeah. If I'm not wrong, I'm not going to admit I'm wrong, right? And that's just keep it solid, you know what I mean? I always show up on time as far as things like that go. I do good business. I'm old school. I think I was raised by an old school Italian guy, right? My dad. So there's certain things that just have been, whoops. See, the Italian came out. I hit the mic twice. Are we good? I thought I broke it. But yeah, that's how I
But you're also
business.
Describing trust.
100%.
And that's what it is, being you, being yourself. But then ultimately people work with people who they trust.
100%.
And that has to be you know, that you're even keel. You're actually calling it like it is.
Yeah.
You're not painting a picture that's different than what it is.
I like people who are the same people all the time.
Yep. Consistent.
And yes.
Yep.
If you're an asshole, be a asshole all the time.
Right.
I'll respect you for it.
Right.
If-
And you know what? Branding comes from consistency. So if you're all over the map
For
and
sure.
people are like, oh my God, I don't get it. Like every day is different.
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like
Yep.
we've talked about it a little bit, that sell yourself on yourself, sell yourself on your product.
Right.
Those people are still trying to figure themselves out.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you can feel it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
no worries. You do your thing. You got a few more things to figure out.
Yep.
Eventually come around, right? But like when you meet somebody that they know who they are, they know what they do.
Right.
That's why I always ask people, what do you do? If it's not one simple sentence, I don't trust you anymore.
Oh my gosh, I did a reel on this. It was hilarious. Where I had a stylist who talked to me, and I was like, okay, so give me your
I've had that.
the 30-second pitch.
It like popped in my head.
Yeah,
I heard that shit.
It was like a 30-second
Well,
pitch, and he was like 3 minutes in, and I'm like, yo, like, I need a subject line to your email. Like, you didn't even tell me what you're going to talk
Yeah.
about, and you told such a story. And so, honestly, the storytelling piece is you need a 10-second story, which is the subject line to your email.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a custom menswear stylist. I style clothes that fit.
Bam.
Then 30-second, then a 60-second, then a 3-minute.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, the way you do it is you describe your ideal customer, who you're helping, and how you're changing them, how you're helping them.
Definitely.
And that goes a long way to know what your story is.
No, you got to know what you do.
Oh.
You gotta say, well, you know, I leverage.
Oh,
you hear leverage.
God.
Oh shit.
And then,
This guy.
and I do this too also, and
I do mortgage loans. Boom.
Oh, and I do this too. No,
I'm a barber. Boom.
yeah, exactly. Just
got a
keep
clothing
it sweet
line.
and simple,
Boom.
you know.
Yep.
Sweet
Yeah.
and simple.
And it really ends up feeling, it's a bit aspirational, but that's what we're doing is people work with us because of where we take them.
Absolutely.
So when we're not, the story is not the day. Yes, it's day to day. You're capturing some of your story, but you're really capturing where you're taking people. And that's where people believe in you. They go,
Definitely.
okay, if you can get that person approved, if you can make that person look that good.
Absolutely.
It's a life changer, you know, whether it might just be one person that day or that moment. Like example, you know, you want a man, it's day his wedding, you know, so
Right.
look perfect.
Right.
You know, and
Yep.
and you,
That's por vida. That's for the rest of his life.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Hopefully, he don't get married again.
I hope not. I don't know. But you know, like, and I can relate to you with the same thing because, you know, I have clients that, you know, it's their day of their wedding, or it could be a funeral, or you know, their prom, all those different moments in their life, first date, you know,
Yeah.
job interview. You want to look perfect, and you know, and the energy that we provide and the service that we provide for them, you know, buy their first home
Absolutely.
or their first big investment, you know,
Yeah.
and providing that service and giving
And the
them
fact that they trust
confidence,
you for that.
the confidence in
Right.
you, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's
But then
all.
I don't doubt that you treat a famous basketball player the same as someone who's getting married as to someone who just walked in off the street. You treat them the same because that's you.
Hell yeah.
Of course, because, you know, I think that treating the person that's famous and the person that just walks in, you know, I always want to keep the same energy, right? Of course, if I know somebody personally and they ask me for a certain favor, of course I'll be able to work with them, and you know, I see the fruitful benefits that it might provide for me, but I'm not gonna stop the same energy that's coming in from a
Right.
person that I don't know to a famous person, and I'm not gonna treat you different because we're all human beings,
Right.
and you know, and that goes both ways. It goes both ways from
That's any business, right? Like
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna be really good at what you do, that $200,000 home buyer and that $4 million home buyer gets the same service. Same thing when I was selling cars. That $5,000 home or car buyer, and that when I was at Land Rover, $250,000 home buyer.
Yep.
It's the same service. It's the same style. It's the same business,
exactly.
and that's keys.
And that's the consistency of being that providing that same, that same energy.
Absolutely. All right, so we're about to wrap it all up. This was a great episode. Thank you guys so much. Right? Last words. If you want to speak to your clientele, you want to speak to people coming out, trying to come up in the business, whatever it might be, what are your last words?
Don't question your story. Your life, it is what it is, and it will speak to someone.
Absolutely. How about you, Mom?
Same, pretty similar. I believe that, just sticking with what you believe in and find a passion that you feel very true to yourself and you're passionate about, like, don't give up. Keep going and striving and give it 100%. Like, you can't go 50, 60, 70% on something and, give up. You got to give it 100%. No matter what it is that you do, believe in yourself and, keep it going.
Definitely. Last words for me, I guess, take your losses as wins, right? Like, any fallback you might have in life, turn it into a positive. I think if you're an entrepreneur, if you've got an entrepreneurial mindset, you've got to be able to take L's and turn them into W's, turn those lessons into blessings, and just keep improving. If you can improve 1% every day, right, it's going to take you to the next level. Don't compare yourself to other people. Keep your mind focused on what you are doing and become the best at that. And once you become the best at it, you can analyze other options. But whatever you're doing right now, become the best at it, become better every day, and make it happen. And that is going to be the conclusion of the 3rd episode of The World Is Yours. And I thank you guys very much. That was a good time.
Oh. And I'm on this episode because I told you at the mixer, bitch, I want to be on your podcast.
I know. That's exactly what it was. Hey,
on Thursday.
She sold herself on.
I was like, yo, I want to be on your podcast. And he's like, yeah.
I was like, absolutely.
How do you guys feel about doing your first podcast?
Oh, that was super fun. Of course. I can
It's
talk
fun,
for
huh?
days.
How do you feel about it, Beto?
I feel good.
He's like, I'm blasting right now.
I know, right? Oh, we got to take a picture of the 3 of us.
Absolutely.
I sent you the 2